Hey guys, with this example we are going to understand Pandas group by. What is Pandas group by? In detail we will understand. Now let's imagine there is a school. Now in that school we have got multiple different grades. That means people are there from grade 6, students are there from grade 7, 8 and 9. Now you have been given an Excel file which contains all the names of the students of the school. That means including all the grades, it has a sheet which contains all the names of the students and their details. Now you have been asked, can you group them based on their grades? For example, all the students from grade 6 should be kept at one place. All students from grade 7 should be kept at another place. Like that you need to group them based on their grade. So let's see the data. Now I'm going to pass this simple data in a link in the description of the video. So do check the description of the video where you find this link to download this file. Okay, so this is a pretty simple file which contains the names of the students, which contains the grade. You can see it is all jumbled up. Grade 8, grade 7, 9, 6, everything is there. And then there's a age column, gender column, and then score. And there's the overall score, like in the exam, how much they have scored. Overall score 85%, 92%, 78%. Okay. So like that, I have the entire data. Now you have been asked, hey, first thing what you do, group by. Then we will see rest of the things one by one we will learn. Okay, now this is the file. Once you download, just write this import pandas as pd and you create a data frame variable and point to read that csv file. This I have taught several times. So now I am going to simply print the data frame just to see the data. Okay, this is how my data is coming. Okay, now the very first thing that we will learn, group by. What is the ask here? The ask here is to, can you group by grade? So look at now the very first thing, when you have been given such data, the very first thing is you need to have a clear study of the data. So at least you should know the columns. So here the grade is defined in the grade column, age, gender, score and name. So we have to target this grade column in our data set. Now to do that, simply use the data frame variable dot group by. Pretty simple function we have to use called group by. And in the parenthesis I'm going to pass the column name based on which I would like to create, I would like to group. So the column name is grade. So having a clear idea of your data set, what are the columns are there, what column contains what, is very important. Now once you know this, you have written it. Now all you will do, I'm going to assign it to a variable called group by. This is a data frame variable I have created, group by, and I'm assigning this. So your group by is done. For example, if I'm going to print gb and run this, you see it has already done the job. If you read this clearly, it says pandas.core.groupby.generic.dataframe group by object. So a new object got created, which is a container of multiple data frames. So it has grouped. Now the question comes to our mind, okay Rakesh, the question is, you said you have grouped it and a variable got created, the object got created, but we are not able to see the data, right? So how do I see the data? Next question what comes to our mind, how do I really see the data, right? So let me write it. So the basic question is how to print the group by object, right? Group by object. So how do you print it? That is the question that comes to our mind. Now how will you print it? Now printing can be done in two different ways. Okay, one is you take the variable name, the data frame name. Now remember, this is not a simple data frame. Generally your data frame variable will have a data type called data frame only, but here it is of type data frame group by. The type is different. Remember this, general data frame variable will have data frame, but here the type is data frame group by. So it's a group of data frame variables. Now for that you have to write a method called get underscore group. What is it? Get underscore group. Now inside that, inside this, you need to pass. For example, you made a group by the grade, right? Now what are the grades available? Grade 6, 7, 8, 9, like that it is available. Okay, for example, here I am saying, okay, you give me the data of grade space 6. Now as I said, look at the data carefully. See here, if you see, the grades are written with a space, so exactly you need to pass it here. Okay, now if you run this, did it print? It has all grouped everything because the group has been already done. The grouping of the data frame has already been done here, but here what we are doing, we are simply printing it. Grouping is done by data frame dot group by. Remember this. So the very first learning we had is how do you do a group by writing the data frame variable dot group by and passing the column name. Pretty simple. Now the output of that is not a simple data frame variable, it is a group by object, data frame group by object. Now because it is a group by object, you cannot print just by typing the name. You need to print in different way. This is one of the way. Get group and you are passing that name and you will be able to see. For example, if I want to print whole are there in grade 7. I want to print whole are there in grade 7. Now if you run this, it gives you the data. I would like to know whole are there in grade 8. If I run it, it gives me the data, right? Of all are from group 8. Whole are there in group 9. Run, it gives me the data. Now you have a question, Rakesh. Okay, now for every group you are printing like this. What if I want to print all of them at one straight, I want to print all of them at a time. So what is the code? How do you write the code? So here our question is, how do I print all the data frame objects at the same time, right? So here you can take multiple approaches because you learned the output of group by is a collection of data frame variables. Now when it becomes collection, the simple way is to loop through it. For example, I'm going to loop through it for x in GB. GB is what? GB is a group by object. Okay, so GB, and here I'm saying print x. What I'm doing? Print x. Now if I'm going to simply run this, what is happening? You can see all of them got printed here. If you see, for grade 6, these are the column names and these are the values. Okay, and this is the index number 3, 7, 11. I mean, those data is found in that particular index number. Okay, for example, in 19 you have Amanda for grade 6, so you can see that. Okay, 19 Amanda. So likewise, it has printed everything. It has printed everything. Do you see? It has printed everything. Now there is also another object you can create here called x and y. Now if you print y, what would happen? Let me show you. Now you saw now when you write two different objects like this, let me show you the output. Let me print x now, and then I will print y. Okay, so let us print one by one. Let's understand. Now if I'm going to, for example, I'm going to put a x hash symbol here and run it. So what it is doing, it is saying, hey, this GB object contains how many different groups? Their names are grade 6, grade 7, grade 8 and 9. These are the group names. Getting it? X represents that particular output. Now what represents Y? Let me show you. For example, I'm going to comment out this, and if I run this, now it is showing you the actual output. The grade 6 contains these values, the grade 7 contains these values, the grade 8 contains these values, right, and the grade 9 contains the last set of values. So these are the two different ways you have learned to access those data frame objects from the group by data frame. Okay, all right, so this is clear. Now the next question I will ask you, the question is, okay, for example, if I'm printing grade 6, make a note of this. Okay, this is how you print, simple way, or else use a loop and print. Now grade 6, now the question that I'm asking you, now this answer is quite difficult. Okay, you will not be able to even find it. It is a very difficult one. What I'm asking you this, let's say I'm printing grade 6. So you see all the grade 6 student names have come and there is a score here. I'm asking you, okay, can you identify who's the topper of grade 6? What I'm asking, who's the topper? Now if you look at this small data, you can easily tell me, hey, this is 97. Now imagine you have millions of records, let's say, then you really have a hard time to really identify. Now what is the code you will write and how do you write to identify who's the topper of this particular grade? Okay, so next question that we have got is identify who is the topper of grade 6. What I'm asking, who's the topper of grade 6? That is the question. Now to identify who's the topper for grade 6. Now if I ask you print the grade 6, what you do? You have learned this particular one, right? And you run it. So this way you are getting the entire data. Now if I'm asking who's the topper, what you can do is you can pass something like this. What I'm doing, I'm passing the objects, the column name score here. What I'm passing, the grade 6 contains the entire data frame. Now I'm passing the object score here, the column score here. Here for the score, I'm simply going to add a function called max. Okay, now look at the output. If I'm going to run this, it is saying 97. What it's saying? It's saying 97. Now let me print it. Okay, to print it, let's create a topper. Okay, TP data frame TP, and then I'm going to say TP. Okay, and run it. So it is saying 97. Now this is only giving 97, which is the maximum value. Now how do I get the entire row? Now to get the entire row, there are multiple ways you can take an approach. One is you remove the score. Okay, now simply print like this. Okay, this is also giving you the data. Let's say you don't like this kind of output, you need it in a different way, then remove the max and simply print TP. So now it has got everything. Now just treat it like a data frame. This is a data frame, right? TP is a data frame of grade 6. Now here I would like to find the topper. So what I will do, I will say TP, and then within square bracket I'm going to write the condition. So what is the condition here? TP dot score. Now this syntaxes are very important while you are dealing with data frame. Okay, TP dot score equals to TP dot score, and they are case sensitive, your column names, TP dot score dot max and parenthesis. Now if you print this, you can see it has given you the exact row. Now this is interesting. Now the next question that comes to mind, hey Rakesh, you just got the grade 6. Now for grade 7, do I have to write this code several times? Is there a way that I can write one line of code, a single line of code, which can give me all the output for grade 6, who is the topper, for grades 7, 8, 9, all of them? Who's the topper? I would like to find. Now how do you write that code? Okay, so the next question comes, identify who is the topper of all different grades, right? That is the question. So here I'm saying, I'll copy this, copy and paste it here. Identify who is the topper for all grades here. So how do you write this? This is very important syntax that you are going to learn. This will be pretty useful. Okay, identify who is the topper for all the grade. So first of all, let's print the data frame so that we have an idea of how our data looks. Okay, now let's write it. Now, for example, we got to know in the previous output Jane Smith, okay, for grade 7, who is there in the index number 1, is the topper for grade 7. We got to know this. Now let's say if I'm going to write this one, I have taught you around .loc, dataframe.loc. LOC means what? Location. And here within the square bracket, I'm going to type 1. What would be the output? The output is Jane Smith. Pretty simple. The output is Jane Smith. Okay. The moment I'm writing, okay, the moment I'm writing dot loc and within the square bracket you're writing the index number. Location means you're providing a passing some value to it. So you are saying in the first location who is there, in the second address who is there, in the third location who is there, in the fourth address who is there. That is the meaning. Now using this, I am going to show you how you can identify who is the topper for all the grades. All the grades, who is the topper. Okay. Now for this I am using this df.loc. Okay. So I'm putting this hash here and I'm going to really show you how do you write this command. Now here I'm finding the toppers, right? So I'm saying TPS toppers. It's a data, it's a variable I've created equals to. Now I'm going to act directly on data frame. Okay, and I'm saying dataframe.loc, and somehow I have to find the LOC, okay, the location number. I cannot pass manually like this. I have to identify the location number somehow. So how do you identify the location number? Let me first show you. Okay, so I'm first writing data frame group by. You have learned this group by, and then within the parenthesis I'm going to pass the column name, which is grade here, grade, and then I am saying within the square bracket I am writing score. Now what is the output of this? Tell me. I'm writing simply score. But I'm writing score. Score means I'm saying you group it, but you only give me the score column. That is the meaning. Okay, for example, if you print this output, let me remove it and let me run this. So what is happening? It is simply, let me write that. What is that I have written? TPS, right? Toppers equals to this one. Let me see if I can show you the output. TPS, or let me write TPS dot get group, and inside this I am passing, let's say, one of the value I'm passing. Okay, so grade 6 I'm passing. Now if I'm going to run this, what is happening? It is telling me your grade 6 scores are this. So it is not giving me the entire output. So if you look at my data frame output, generally have multiple columns: name, grade, age, gender, score. Now this output, if you look at carefully, it is only giving me the index numbers are by default, these are coming, let's leave it, but it is telling you all your grade 6 are there in the third index whose score was 95. Let's check that. In the third index, grade 6, yeah, whose score was 95. Like that, it is giving all the data, but it is only giving me one column data. Now what would happen if I'm going to write dot max? That means in that grade 6 group, look at the score and give me who's the max. Now here if you look at 97 is the max, which is there in the index number 19. So if you run this, what is the error? Series object has no attribute get group. Okay, so it will directly type TPS. Now let's run this. So you can see what it actually did. In grade 6 the highest is 97, in grade 7 its highest is 92. Like that is given all highest numbers in all of this different grades. Now if I'm going to write, look at this, this is very important. I'm showing IDX max. So what this will do, this won't give me this values of the score column, it is going to give me the ID number, I mean the index number. IDX means index, okay, index number of the maximum. For example, 97 is the max, so IDX max. So if I run this, it is saying For grade 6, the person who scored the highest mark is there in the index number 19. So if I scroll up, you can see Amanda Lewis, who scored 97, who is the highest for the grade 6, is there in the index number 19. Like that, it is going to give me the index numbers. Now you will ask, what is the use of this? This is the use. Okay, so it is giving me all the index number. So what is the output of this? The output is a list of different indexes. 19142. This is the list of different indexes. So instead of passing manually like this, what if I'm going to pass this code here? Okay, I'm going to delete everything, and here I'm going to write toppers equals to DataFrame.loc, and this is the code. Now if I'm going to run this code, I'm telling you this code is going to help a lot of people. Okay, now let me print tps, run this. Now what happened? Now from the entire data frame, I am able to identify what is the maximum score scored by each group. So grade 6 scored 97, whose name is Amanda. Then in grade 7, Jane 92, David 89, and then grade 9. So people are studying less when they are going to grade 9. Okay, so 78 in my data table, 78. So now look at this data out of your entire data, right? Just imagine you have millions of data. Now out of that, if you are finding out something like this, now this is a very insightful data, right? Absolutely insightful data with the help of the pandas code you have done. Now take a note of all the code that I've taught. If required, to try to revise, wind back, and then try to see how I have done it. You will get complete understanding. Okay, so finally we have got what is needed. We were able to, divide that entire sheet of data to different grades, and on top of that we also have identified who is the topper from each grade. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. We are going to meet once again in our next video. Please give it a like to all the contents that you're watching on my channel. Just give a like to that video and do subscribe to the channel, guys. So let's move on and meet in our next video.